little different parts of the Nancy Guthrie investigation I want to share with you this morning. And we're going to start off with a little clip from Savannah Guthrie, who is the co-anchor on the Today Show. And so here it is right here.
We still believe. And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. And we believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late. I wanted to come up.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there and just talk to you a few minutes about that. And then I want to talk to you about a few articles that I ran across and some of the coverage that's been going on. And let's see if I can make sure we are not in the sun. So you see Savannah Guthrie appealing in a very emotional way. So there was a newscaster on this morning saying, oh, do families typically do that in kidnappings? And one of the commentators said, no. Well, you know what? I'm 66 and a half years old, and you know how many times I've seen families on there appealing for their loved ones to be returned. It does happen, absolutely. It's a very normal, healthy, beautiful thing to do. She's appealing to these kidnappers, whoever took her mom, saying, and I love what she said, and we're going to talk about this for just a moment. She says she believes in the essential good. Now, what does that mean? She believes in the essential good of every person. She's believing, and she's absolutely right about that. Everybody has good in them. And in spite of all of this stuff that has been going on, there could very well be, there seems to be indications that there's more than one person. And however, that gives me the idea that there's then, with that being more than one person, that there's actually a number of people kind of on the sidelines who may be suspicious, who may have seen something, and they're just afraid to get on the phone because they're afraid of their lives. They're afraid of the repercussions. And fear is such a negative part of the human spirit. And I would say that that if you don't take the steps to do what is right, the inevitable is going to happen. It is. It's the inevitable is going to happen to you. And, and I'm just saying that in a manner that is realistic, because there's no good that can come out of this, basically. If somebody does decide to say something, there's a whole bunch of positive repercussions from that. A whole bunch of positive repercussions from that. So it's just all good is going to come out of it if somebody decides to talk or just kind of communicate a tip. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I've been looking at these clips here. There's a couple of weird things that occurred in the past couple of days. One of them is there were pool cleaners. There's a swimming pool in back of Nancy's house, and there were pool cleaners there. I thought that was the weirdest thing, but I said, well, they're probably FBI pool cleaners, collecting DNA or trying to get something out of the pool. Well, this article I got here, it's by Matt Richards, newsbreak.com, and the title of it is Missing Nancy Guthrie Mystery Deepens as the Pool Cleaners Bizarrely Show Up at Her $1 million Arizona Home. I don't know if they know it's $1 million home. They're saying that it is, but their company claims they've never had a client at that address. So did you get that? Pool cleaners were cleaning the pool while the house was swarming with the FBI and police. And the company that apparently they checked into to see who these people were said they never had a client at that address. Okay, if that's not bizarre. So let's just kind of let's see if we can get just a little bit of the info here. In a bizarre twist in the case of Savannah Guthrie's mother missing, Nancy pool cleaners showed up at her house and they were escorted in. Let me see, do I have... so in drone footage, Tabet, I guess Tabet, shared two men clearly dragging nets through the pool in the backyard. Despite the missing woman's house being on lockdown. Now, I don't know if this is absolute fact, but this is an article that written by I'm sorry. Okay, hold on one second. Written by Matt Richards, okay, 2 days ago. Okay, so let's just continue. In another video shared by X, by Mr. Troy Lynch, that's at Mr. Troy Lynch, a deputy is seen in footage escorting pool cleaners to the front door. Several clips have surfaced showing work trucks from, this is the name of the pool company, Ambiance Pool Service and Supplies. It's a local company, and it was in front of Nancy's house. So you would assume maybe but even if they were scheduled, oh my God, why would you let them in? Even if they're legit, why would you let them in? But this is weird. In a strange twist, this bothers me. The company informed, again, TMZ. TMZ keeps popping up here to such a point that I'm suspicious. Why TMZ? Just saying. They have never had a client at Nancy's address. In response, why is TMZ broadcasting this instead of passing it to the FBI immediately? Because you see what's happening? They're being used now from somebody out there to create more chaos and confusion. Because that could be true or it could be not true. Okay? But in response, the sheriff's department referred the outlet back to Nancy's family, who have yet to comment on the pool cleaner's visit. It should be in the FBI's hand, not the family right now. The family is in no position to make a judgment call on if they should have been there or not be there, if they're legit or not. They're just not. Because who were those people? What happened to Nancy Guthrie? So the article goes on. And that was the gist of the article, is that the fact that the pool cleaners were there and nobody really knew who they were. So I wanted to share that with you. That's a very interesting piece of information. Now, the other thing I want to share with you, which is extremely frustrating, beyond belief, I just I actually just stopped watching a few of these um, channels because it is so frustrating that they keep. You're talking about YouTubers like myself making the decision that because they heard something, they're presenting it to you like it's fact. That is very dangerous for so many reasons. And this article is, let's see, this was a news break also. It's by Shanna Aborn, and it is title is Annie Guthrie's relationship with missing mom. Nancy is under the microscope. So what the article ends up talking about and is the fact that media is really creating uh, stories, because for me, I listen to the news outlets that have received confirmed information from the FBI or from the police authorities in this case. When I hear a news person say, my source is right, I'm always right, I'm never wrong. This isn't about being right or wrong. This is about the investigation going forward and finding an 84-year-old woman who's been kidnapped. So when they start that kind of thing, I kind of click out of it because I find it very distracting and very hurtful towards the family when they're naming family members. So the devastating, this, I'm just going to read a little of this. The kidnapping of Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie, has evoked shock and sympathy from celebrities and fans. As of this writing, the 84-year-old widow and mother of three was still missing 2 weeks after her January 31st disappearance, and one person of interest has been detained by the police. They have had one person of interest in this case, and it is not a family member. As investigators continue to explore, they haven't even given you the name of that person, by the way. The investigators continue to explore. Attention is turned to Savannah's older sister, Annie, and her husband, Tommaso. I heard one of the YouTubers, in such a flagrant way, kept repeating Tommaso's name, and in like create in a tone creating suspicion, being sarcastic. They were making fun of his name. In my opinion, that if you're on there reporting on such a serious case, you're not following protocols of being ethical at all. You're making fun of someone, you're bullying them, really. That is very serious, people. I turn them off right at that point. The couple notably, so this is just saying that that night that Nancy went missing, Annie and Tommaso had dinner with her. Investigators have searched Annie's home twice and may have removed items from the residence also. We don't know the reason. She was there that night. They could be trying to match something up. Naturally, this has raised questions about Annie's relationship with her mother. By their own accounts, the Guthrie children are close and also very close to Nancy. During the segment of the Today Show, the sisters explained that they intentionally chose to stay home while they were going to college because they just love being with their mom. So it goes on like that. And let's see here. It's a little bit of a long article. and they reference Nancy, all of them reference Nancy as the light in their lives. And Annie said that, and Annie is also, she's a poet and she's a jewelry maker, and she says that her mom is her beacon. Um, Now it goes on here. Let's see. In this article, this reference, let's see, let me read the last paragraph if I could. Savannah Guthrie has had a difficult year to begin with, just having undergone surgery of nodules of her vocal cords. Now she and her siblings are coping with rumors. Check this out, people. Misinformation and outright lies surrounding Annie and her husband. And they're outright lies. I have heard them, I have heard some of these not newscasters, but YouTuber reporters or Crime Truth followers, and I have heard them in real time twist the truth. And yes, Annie and Tommaso, her husband Tommaso, they have never been named as persons of interest or suspects on any level. So this says one spam bot generated story even alleged that Annie had actually been arrested on suspicion of being involved in Nancy's disappearance. Despite being debunked, the article is still circulating. Similarly, News Nation's Ashley Banfield has claimed more than once that Cioni, that's his last name, Tommaso Cioni, is considered a suspect in the case, despite a local sheriff's clarification that a definitive suspect has not yet been found. I would think that's obstruction of an investigation. I don't know why they're not doing more in communicating directly to Ashley Banfield. They name her right here. And yeah, she is one that I just about gagged when I heard some of the things that she said. She has I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. So the last paragraph here, the Guthleys are reportedly considering legal action against Banfield for inflicting emotional harm. But the damage is already done. Once content to let her sister be the one handling the perks and pain of the celebrity life, Annie is now destined to withstand public scrutiny and gossip until her mother's case is resolved. I'm going to say something to that. I get what they're saying, that there's going to be so much set out there that you can't control it. But I certainly would, especially in this case, especially with a few of them, because they named Ashley Banfield and there's one or two others out there pretty much confirming what she says with no basis. So what I would do is have a legal team kind of keep an eye on them. And for this reason, they could be obstructing this investigation to such a point that it's really hindering the if they can find the person who took her out of her home. I looked at the video. Being an artist, I looked at the video pretty good of with you actually, of the person who was trying to get into Nancy's house, and he had kind of a hook, like a curve on his nose, and his face absolutely in no way is similar to in my opinion, to the drawing that the artist took upon herself to put out. It's a well-known artist, I get that, but I did see a curve on the nose. It's pretty clear. And there's some other definitive aspects of the features of this person that are just not even close to, and not only that, they're not even close to the family member, but the family members, are not in any way being mentioned, you have to take this, look at your own moral compass. If this was you and your family, wouldn't you want all eyes on the investigation to find the perpetrator instead of being, I don't know. I mean, there's some words out there that could be applied to what they're doing to this family specifically. So they're in a very desperate situation, and emotionally, this family is just trying to keep themselves together. But I would say for those, uh, they're not reporters, they're like YouTubers. It saying things that are so far-fetched, but keep an eye on them. To have somebody with legal sense keep an eye on them, because no, they, let me just, hear me on this, please. This is something that occurred politically. When you do what this Ashley Banfield is doing, you're putting the family members in danger, and they're already in danger. I do hope that they're being in a safe place. And people say, oh, well, why are they making such a big deal of this? Well, Savannah is a celebrity. This is a high profile, which means there could be more vulnerability. She could be more vulnerable to many different missteps in this investigation, and her sister. You could be putting her sister in danger. Someone who's not thinking altogether correctly there could be, these people have to really stop. And I'm surprised YouTube hasn't at least said something, because they're supposed to do fact check. You're supposed to have a fact check. Like I got on here and I said, this is who wrote the article. This is I found a news break, and I say where I found my information. That is a fact check. So now you can go back and you can read this article. I gave you the title also. So that's very important when you are passing on information. So with that, this is another thing I want to say. So yes, granted, you can't go out there and control every single tiny little thing being said. But when it's major, and it could be putting you in not just emotional harm and damaging you emotionally, but putting you in more physical harm or danger, that you definitely want to have professionals keep an eye on. The second thing I want to say is that as difficult as it is right now, and we saw this in the case of the Idaho 4, you saw a couple of the parents step up. As difficult it was for them emotionally, they stepped up and they took control of the narrative. Savannah, Annie, and Cameron, they need to take a breather, and they're going to take control of this narrative. Enough is enough with these YouTubers saying whatever they want to say. So this family right now is distraught, but they're going to take control of this narrative. And they're the ones you're going to want to listen to, okay? That's where you're going to get the fact. That's where you're going to get the facts. So stay with that. Stay with your moral compass, your compassion, and your love and understanding, and keeping the prayers going. And so the other thing I wanted to point out is not only the pool, but I saw one of the YouTubers videotape a florist who came by the house, because the pool people, just to kind of wrap this up, if the people at the pool were not legit, they could, in my view, the vibe I would get, if they were not legit and they were just a part of this whole crime of making kidnapping Nancy, then why would they be there cleaning the pool? They weren't cleaning the pool. They were listening. They're trying to get information. That is if they were not legit, like the article is implicating. The other thing is, I noticed on the lives You have white vans pulling up all the time. I don't know if that's what they were looking for, but you had a white van pull up and bring flowers. And when he was asked who he was, he says, which what I recognize, because I lived in New York a little bit as a kid, I recognize a New York accent. But he says he's a florist. He didn't say who he was. It was an unmarked vehicle. He drops off flowers. I'm just saying, many times these criminals, they return to the scene. It might be for a split moment, a second, but they're there. So eyes and ears need to be all over that place. And I would think that there's those little like you could put a camera even on your little ring there. You know what I mean? Like these cameras you can put all over the place now. But you got to think like that now. And it disturbs me to no end that you have these people out there with cameras calling themselves reporters, and someone like Ashley Banfield, instead of saying these things, instead of focusing on something like that, maybe study the reels, talk to your colleagues, maybe try to figure out, is this unusual? Is this another clue? What does this mean? Instead of throwing accusations, baseless accusations, at the immediate family. Are you kidding me, people? Imagine yourself in their shoes. So that's what I just want to say that. I know I'm a little kind of on my high horse this morning about it, but you know what? Uh, when I was an HR manager, people do lie. They twist the truth. They make themselves look good, and it hurts another person. It could be in my little world. It could be it was someone's job maybe, or just making it so difficult for them to be in training or something. So this is a whole nother level. Anyway, I send my blessings out to Savannah, Annie, and Cameron. And you know, guys, Cameron is a Vermonter. He's an F-16 pilot fighter. That's kind of what kind of prompted me to get on here and start covering this case, because and Savannah being from New York. So anyway, what I was going to wrap that up with, what that tells me is these criminals are, if I'm not saying the florist guy, you know, but I'm saying in that capacity of disguise, whether, yeah, it's a pool person, you know, or a florist person or whatever, delivery, they could be trying to figure out how much has been, where they're at in this case. And it also tells me if there are that many people, that it could be one of those larger syndicated, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, not syndicate, but one of the larger groups of criminals. You know how they say like the cartel or the mafia, and I'm sure they have a lot of other names and this and that. But you kind of get that sense, you know what I mean? Anyway, at this point. So that's just a theory. It's absolute, you know, but, you know, kind of talking out like that and, you know, just kind of giving our thoughts in a civil, respectful manner, I think is very, very important. Anyway, with that, I hope that you all have a beautiful day. Again, I do pray for Savannah, Annie, and Cameron, that Nancy is returned to them very, very, very soon now, like now. So with that, I send a love and light and healing. God bless you.